How's it going, guys? This is Jeff with the I Download blog. We are here with Let's Talk Jailbreak. I have my buddy Sebastien Page on the line. Hey, Sebastien.
Hi, how are you?
This is episode 3, so we've made some progress here.
So we should jump into it right away.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about the big news of the week, which was actually the big news of last week, the release of iOS 6.1.3, also known as the jailbreak killer.
The jailbreak killer. I have a problem with that term. I don't like that.
Why not?
Well, it paints Apple in a bad light. It makes it seem like they are actively pursuing to harm the jailbreak community when that's not the case.
Yeah, I know. I actually wrote a post about this last week. The title of the post was does Apple really hate jailbreakers? And of course, like the quick answer, if you just need the answer right now, is no. Apple doesn't hate jailbreakers, or not that I think of. A lot of people seem to think that every time a software update patches an exploit using a jailbreak, Apple does this on purpose to piss jailbreakers off, be like, no jailbreak for you, basically. And that's not the case. That's not the case.
Soup Nazi.
Yeah, exactly, the jailbreak Nazi.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case at all. I think Apple, they have a responsibility, they have an obligation to make their operating system as secure as possible, and that's what they're doing.
Exactly. That's the point I made in my post. You know, like if you have an exploit used in a jailbreak, even if it's something very, very minor that most people wouldn't be able to exploit in a major hijacking of your phone or your data, it's a security, it's a liability basically for Apple, and that would be completely crazy for Apple to leave a hole in the software opened and not fix it. Not only there would be a lot of anger from average users, like, there is a security hole in there, you're not doing anything. So not only that, but it will also allow hackers to take advantage of this in a bad way.
Right, and you hear it every week. It's like this government organization is now switching from BlackBerry to iOS, or this company is dumping their BlackBerry devices for iOS. Well, Apple, if they're going to be a dominant player in the enterprise space, then they have to stay on top of security. They have to be perceived as someone who really is at the forefront security-wise. So I think it's
That's
a good
true.
thing.
Historically, Apple also has been or OS X has been a operating system that's been fairly secure. I remember, like, when I was using Windows, one of the big arguments of people to have me switch to Mac was, you don't need an antivirus. Mac is so safe and so secure and everything. Turns out it's not actually very, very true. It's not 100% of the truth. The truth is hackers didn't really bother trying to hack into OS X because it was such a small slice of the market, like it was like 4 or 5% of market share. So hackers were trying to focus their efforts on a bigger slice of the cake, which was Windows, obviously.
Right.
So I don't think it's really correct to say that Mac is safer than Windows. I think the more correct way to say it is there's less hackers working on hacking Mac than Windows.
Well, I think you could make an argument that Unix in itself is more secure than Windows.
True.
So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But back to the point, I don't think Apple hates jailbreakers at all. I think they love jailbreakers because look at all as we talked about last week, look at all of the features in iOS that have been borrowed, if you will, from the jailbreak community.
Absolutely. They even hired some jailbreak devs in the past. I can think about Peter Aegis. I'm not sure how I pronounce his name right. I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name.
The dude behind, was it Mobile Notifier? Is that the name of the tweet?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Basically,
like
this guy came up at Apple, and we had all these new lock screen notifications in the next iOS update. So, next iOS release, not update. Like the Apple clearly got more than inspired by the jailbreak community in this case. They grabbed the guy who had the best implementation of lock screen notification at the time and hired him and baked his product into iOS. I think that's great.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know if I think Apple may have had that implemented before because he was hired right around the same time that
True, like
iOS.
a few months before.
Right.
So
So I think
yeah,
what they probably use him as just a source of consulting, maybe for specific little idiosyncrasies with the notifications.
I don't know if he's still working there. I wonder if he's still there.
I'm not sure. I need to ping him and find out. I
Uh,
know he's not the only one though. There's been
yeah,
others that have interned or worked at Apple as well.
there's been a high-profile jailbreak hacker or iOS hacker hired at Apple, which was Comex, of course.
Yeah. Is he still working there?
No.
Oh no, I
He's
remember
out.
it. Yeah, I
He's
remember
out.
that.
Yeah, I think he's back to school actually.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
everyone getting like really excited, thinking, "Oh, he's gonna come back and jailbreak our iPhones."
yeah, probably not. I need to get in touch with him. I'd like to know what he's up to these days.
Yeah,
Maybe he would be a good guy to have on the podcast one of these days.
I think so. That would be really awesome to have him. Let's make that happen.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I put it in my notes.
Okay. What about the previous week's tweaks? I think this past week has been kind of slow for jailbreak
Yeah,
tweaks. I mean, I'm just looking out in Cydia right now, and it's really not much there.
yeah, true.
Yeah, there are a few little gems. What did you find? Anything in particular?
Well, I'm gonna have to talk again about skip lock.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm
His
sorry.
favorite tweak is out, ladies and gentlemen.
My favorite tweak is out finally. Uh, I'm gonna give a quick overview. Some people might not have listened to the previous podcast, so they might not know about it. But
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, I got in touch with Filippo Bigaretta, jailbreak dev, one of my favorite one, and we got a good relationship with him, and we talk to him on a regular basis. And I was like, I need a jailbreak tweak that bypasses the slide to unlock on the lock screen of my iPad,
Right.
because my iPad is with me all the time on my couch, and sliding to unlock is an extra step that I don't need. I don't need to slide to unlock. I want to go straight to my home screen. And he was able to pull this off for me. He sent me the deb file. I installed it on my iPad mini, and I love it. And I've been like bragging about it a little bit on Twitter and stuff. And people are like, I want it. We want this tweak. And finally, Filippo released it last week on his own repo. So it's not in one of the default Cydia repos. You have to install Filippo's repo, and you can find this on IDB. But real quick, the repo is filippobiga.com/repo. But again, you can find all these details on IDB, and it will be in the show notes as well.
Yeah, and it's actually a really popular post. I mean, there's like 90 comments.
Yeah, it got 90 comments. It was one of the most popular posts on IDB this past week. So, I mean, clearly there was like a need for this.
Right.
I seen the comments on the post. A few people were like, why do you reinvent the wheel? Such a tweak already existed like 5 years ago or whatever. There was a tweak called No Lock Screen, which I
Right.
tried before contacting Filippo. I tried this tweak, and it didn't work very well for two reasons. One, every time you would tap the home button, it would quickly flash the lock screen and take you to the home screen. So you
Right.
would see the lock screen very, very like for like a split second and take you to the home screen, which sounded like it didn't look.
It's just
I mean,
ugly, though.
it's just ugly. It looks impractical. It looks like poorly coded, to be honest.
Right.
And then the major issue was that every time I would receive a message notification on my iPad, it would just open, like launch the app. I mean, slide to unlock and go straight to the messages app. So for a while, I was receiving a bunch of text messages, and I could see I was receiving messages. They were logged into Byte SMS, but I didn't have any notification on my phone. I was like, what's going on? And then I figured out that every time I would receive a notification, the notification would get on the iPad mini first, which would open the messages app and make it mark it as red. So basically,
it just automatically did this?
yeah, it automatically did this. And I would assume that it would have done the same with any kind of notification, for example, like a tweetbot notification, on my lock screen.
Right.
I would assume that it would have taken me directly to tweetbot and stuff. But I don't use any notification but messages on my iPad. That's the only one I could tell.
Yeah.
But it was very inconvenient, So after a while, I turned off notifications on my iPad Mini for messages. But it was just like workaround after workaround, and I finally I got in touch with Filippo, and he made my dream come true.
You made your dream come true. That's good. Well, what do you think about the security aspect of it? I mean, true, it's in your house. Do you ever take the iPad out, or is it
Yeah,
always
I go I go to Starbucks and I bring my iPad mini with me. I don't set a password for any of my devices.
really?
Yeah,
Even your phone?
even my phone. I'll tell you what. The only time I set a password on my iPhone is when I travel. If I go to a city, if I go to Paris, or if I go to Chicago,
Wow.
or if I go to LA and I'm walking in the street, I'm gonna set a password because if chances of someone stealing my iPhone are higher of me walking in downtown LA than walking to Starbucks from
You know what?
house.
I'm surprised you don't use Filippo's other tweet called was it Clever Pin?
Yeah.
That makes it so if you're on a Wi-Fi network that you set, say your home Wi-Fi network, then your phone or your iPad or whatever iOS device you're using stays the passcode stays disabled.
I know, but it's so inconvenient. If I'm driving, I don't want to have to type a password to do something. If I want to read a message or, I don't know, do something on my phone, like pull out the map application.
Yeah, well, you just have a
So
lot of self-trust.
I do.
I would never do that. I mean, at home is one thing, but I'm just so afraid that our phones are our lives these days, and it's so much personal information.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but see, I mean that opens a brand new discussion
Yeah.
topic. But I mean, worst case scenario, someone steals my iPhone. What are they gonna get? They're gonna get all my contacts and phone number. What are they gonna do with this? Sell them to someone in China?
Well, all the big wigs, man. You have all those Hollywood celebrities. I don't think they would be
Well,
appreciative.
okay, they're gonna make a couple of prank calls to Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio because they're in my phone. But
Yeah.
I mean, what else? They're gonna, send an email to Tim Cook and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can wipe the phone in a matter of minutes. As soon as I know, someone stole my iPhone, I just wipe it out.
Well, that's the thing. You end up wiping it, and then you find it in your back pocket or something crazy. That would be so annoying. Anyway, what other tweaks are we? There was one tweak I wanted to make sure I mentioned. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the last show, but it was maybe I did. Badger tweak. Did I mention that?
Battery tweak or Battery Doctor Pro?
Badger.
Oh, Badger,
BADGER.
Badger. Yes.
It's upcoming tweak. I mentioned that.
No, I don't think
I
you
did.
mentioned it last week. No.
This looks really awesome, and
So
it's
what is
currently
it?
a work in progress.
What is it?
It basically allows you to tap the badge notification on your. Say you get a notification for messages, and there's a little badge there. You tap that badge, you can actually read your unread messages right there on the lock screen. So you don't have to open the app. It's no notification center. It's just you tap the badge, and bam, all of your unread notifications are there.
Can you clear the notification as well?
I don't know. It's all he did was send out a screenshot of it. Supposedly, I'm going to be able to test this soon, so I'll be able to put it through its paces. But just from that screenshot, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. By the way, it's called Badger, not Badger Tweak.
It's called Badger.
Yeah. The
Features.
dev. I think sent me an email or left a comment or something saying it's called Badger, not Badger Tweak. He said he used the Badger Tweak Twitter username because Badger was already taken.
Oh.
So yeah.
I stand corrected. It's Badger, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, no big deal, but
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying that. Hopefully, I'll be able to test out a preview copy soon. There's another tweak. I can't really talk about it too much. I might as well not even mention that. But there's some some really cool stuff in the works. So keep your eyes peeled on IDB because we'll have all that for you.
So we talked about a few other tweaks this week. Nothing groundbreaking, really. I mean, there was no major tweak released this week, but Cody reviewed a old tweak called Battery Doctor Pro, which we had failed to review before. And basically, it's a power management tool for your iPhone. So for everybody who's really into monitoring the battery and killing apps and killing background processes and all that stuff.
Sounds like my perfect tweak, doesn't it?
Well, Battery Doctor Pro might be the answer to this. It has some kind of a NC setting toggles for the notification center. I think it has an app switcher, which Cody says could replace OXO for those of you who are not very into OXO. So it sounds like a great tweak overall for a certain type of people who really want to monitor their battery. To me, again, we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago. I don't care about my battery usage. I don't look it up. I know it's fine. I know it's good, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, me neither.
But Battery Doctor Pro is free. It's on Cydia. If you want to look it up, it's called Battery Doctor Pro in one word, and it's developed by a Chinese dude. So when you type Battery Doctor Pro in Cydia, you're not going to find it very easily. You're going to find some search results will come up with some Chinese characters, and I believe that's the first one that shows up. So it might be a little sketchy at first, but it's there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it looks cool enough. It's just not something that I'd see myself using.
You checked out a very simple tweak this week called, what is it called? Stopwatch?
No. Stopper.
Stopper. That's what it's called.
It's like with 2 P's, I think.
Yeah, 2 P.
Let me see
Stoppur.
Yeah, Stoppur. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to place your stopwatch right on the lock screen.
Okay.
That's really useful.
If you're into like stopwatch and stuff, yeah.
I stopwatch everything I do. Like, for instance, I'm stopwatching this. When I cook a meal, I stopwatch that.
Okay. Right? So see, there's some use for this.
My cat's running around, I stopwatch her. No, it's really cool.
Your life is so entertaining, Jeff.
It is. It's really cool. And he's actually, he just sent me an email. There's a new beta out, so I need to try that out. He's added some more. He's allowed you to, I think, start and stop the stopwatch directly from the lock screen. So you don't have to go into the app first and then start.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's normal evolution of the tweak, I believe.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh, you reviewed a pretty cool tweak. Face detection during video?
Yeah, it basically allows you to have, face detection while you record video. You know how the video app and the camera app has a little green box when you're taking a photo of friends, and it can detect up to 10 different faces. So it basically focuses on those faces. So it makes sure they're in focus when you take the picture or you start your video. Well, previously, how stock iOS works, it will not allow you to detect faces while video is recording. You can do it prior to hitting the shutter button to start your video, but once the video is in progress, you can't detect faces. Well, this eliminates that restriction.
What else did we have last week? We had a tweak called Raise to Call, and again, it's one of these little tweaks. This one does is if you are on iMessage and you are having a conversation with someone, if you pick up the phone and put it to your ear, supposedly it's going to call this person. So
that sounds like a disaster.
Hence the name Raise to Call.
Sounds like a disaster. I'm just gonna. I haven't tried it, and I don't want to have any preconceptions.
Well, it's a $2 tweak, and of course, a lot of people are complaining about the price, considering the simplicity of the tweak. But also, a lot of people are complaining that it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, that's
it just calls people randomly.
Yeah, that's the last thing I need when I'm texting someone that I.
Yeah, exactly. I'm texting you because I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then it starts calling everybody. Yeah. So what else did we have? I think that was
we had Doodle Message.
Doodle Message. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Basically, what this allows you to do is it allows you to send little graffiti messages or little chalkboard messages to your friends via iMessage. It's similar to another tweak called Graffiti, if you remember that. Yep. The difference is Graffiti was a keyboard add-on. I think it's uses Keylord, which is from the Coconuts. It's a keyboard add-on. Doodle Message, on the other hand, is just it is implemented directly into the camera button on your iMessage. So when you normally share a photo or something like that, then if you hit that camera button, there's a new doodle option. You hit that, and then you can make little drawings and send those drawings to your friends via an iMessage.
Well, I mean, for a certain type of people, just all these tweaks, like they're not made for everybody.
Right.
Some of them are just for a very small population.
Yeah.
What else did we have? We had three more I see on my list here. We had Any Reminder. Have you heard about this one?
I have. I tried it out. It didn't work very well at first, but I think it's been since updated.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the update.
So what it does is it allows you to set kind of remind me later reminders for stock apps such as the mail and messages app. And so just like you can do with a phone call, when you receive a phone call and you can say remind me later kind of thing, you can do this with messages and mail directly from the lock screen.
I never use Remind Me Later with the phone. Do you?
I haven't either, actually. As I was reading Cody's post the other day about this tweak, I was like, I've never actually used this feature. But you know what? I spend so little time on my phone as a whole. My iPhone, the other day I was thinking, what I need is not an iPhone. I just need an iPod Touch with data connectivity. That's all I need. I rarely, if ever, use my phone.
I don't either. I don't talk on the phone.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't like talking on the phone, really.
I don't like it either much.
I'm a talking person.
Yeah, exactly. Or send a text,
Yeah.
Send text and done. Other tweak we had was Sticky Icky, which makes...
Say that again, man.
Sticky Icky. Yeah, this one makes a banner notification stick at the top of your iPhone. So, when you receive a notification, it's going to roll at the top towards the status bar.
Yeah, that's been done before.
Yeah, that's been done before. So this one makes the banner stick until you manually tell it to go away. So again, very simple. Again, I don't think I would use this, but I'm sure a lot of people would. And finally, we have a tweak called Grabber Enhancer. Again, very simple tweak. What it does, it either can remove the camera grabber on your lock screen,
right?
Or you can set the camera grabber to unlock your iPhone by swiping it up or typing the camera grabber.
Yeah, I tried it once it was first released. It didn't work, and I guess it's since been updated.
Yeah.
But again, this is something I would never use.
Yeah. So, yeah, not a very big week for jailbreak tweaks and apps.
But stay tuned because
I don't mean to be mean to any of the developers who released all this tweak on Cydia. I'm always amazed by what they do and stuff, and I have great respect. But sometimes there's smaller tweaks coming out, and I think this week was one of these. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So what about our favorite jailbreak tweaks? I know every week we try to touch on maybe one or two favorites. What's another tweak you can't live without, Sebastien? I'm looking too right now. I'm actually just browsing through all my Flux. There you go. I want to talk about Flux.
Go ahead.
Flux is a ridiculously awesome jailbreak tweak. It actually started on the Mac, and what this does is it adjusts your lighting according to the time of day on your iPhone. So it makes it a lot. It's hard to explain, really, but what it does is it adjusts the backlight settings, I guess you could say.
The brightness, right?
It's the brightness, but it's not only that. It's like the warmth of the screen as well. It adjusts both of those. So it works with the time of day. For instance, if it's dark outside, it'll adjust the iPhone to the appropriate level so it's not blinding you while you're using your device in the dark. If it's light outside, then it'll adjust the proper levels that way as well. So it's just a really, really handy jailbreak tweak, especially if you use your devices at nighttime. Like when I turn off Flux after using it for a few days, if I just abruptly turn it off while I'm working at night, it is shocking how different the screen looks and how much it is. It's just horrible. The stock screen, the brightness settings, and the warmth of the screen is just, it's jarring how different it is with Flux disabled.
So do you have to tweak the settings of this tweak? Are there any settings to
No.
play with, or is it just like plug and play?
Plug and play. It uses your location, so it'll ask for your location, and then it can calculate when, of course, nighttime is for that location, and you'll just after a certain point, you'll see this screen adjust to the time of day. It's really remarkable as far as how it works, and this is started as a Mac app, and I use it on my Mac as well, along with on my iOS devices that are jailbroken. I think this is a very underrated jailbreak tweak, and if you have a Mac, I would use it on the Mac as well.
Okay, so I assume you use it on your Mac as well.
Yeah, your eyes will be thanking you. Have you used it?
No, I haven't. But like as we talked about last week, I don't really care about the brightness of my screen.
Try it.
I will.
And then report back next week, and let me know if you think it's helped you out at all. I know you don't do a lot of work at nighttime anyway, though, do you?
No.
At dark, yeah.
No, and if I do
rooms.
actually work, it's going to be on my computer or on my iPad mini.
Yeah, I would just be interested to hear what you had to say about how you think it changed your experience. I don't know.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Flux, right?
Flux. It's F.LUX.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it a try, and we'll report back next week.
Right. Free tweak on Cydia, so yeah, give it a shot. Also free on the Mac, too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's my sleeper hit of the week, I guess you could say.
Okay. And by sleeper, you mean like something that goes under the radar or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at my settings, and it's incredibly boring in here. I don't have much. See what I have. I have a tweak, which we've talked about this before. It's called Full Force for iPhone. It's by Ryan Petrich. And what it does is if you have an app that's not been updated for the iPhone 5 taller screen, it's going to stretch the app or render it in a way that it's going to fill the whole screen of your iPhone 5.
Right.
Of course, there is less and less apps that haven't been updated for the iPhone 5. And I think Apple actually sent a note to developers saying, hey, next time you update your app, next time you submit an update, it has to be updated for the iPhone 5 taller screen, and you have to have iPhone 5 screenshots on your app description. So, I mean, Full Force is eventually going to die. But I still have a few apps that...
Like what?
Let's see what I have.
I don't think I have one.
I have Average Camera Pro. I have Cloudet, which is like cloud app client. What do I have? I have Noir, which is a black and white photo editing app. I have Polytune, which is a guitar tuner for those of you who play the guitar. Great app. Not cheap, if I can remember right, but
So you play the guitar?
Yeah, I do play the guitar. Well, yeah, I guess.
So you're gonna have to do a solo on here for us one day.
Oh my God, I will spare you that, dude. No, I used to be pretty good when I was younger, and I used to play all the time. And I actually was in a band with my friends. We had a punk rock band. That was pretty cool. And then, life got busy, and didn't really have time to play anymore. And now I just play for my daughter from time to time.
Oh, that's nice.
She loves when I play Nirvana, man. I'm a big fan of Nirvana. I grew up on Nirvana.
So was I. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I play Smells Like Teen Spirit,
yeah.
Oh my God, she loves it. I mean, and I love it too because it's the most simple song to play, on my guitar. And she loves it. Like, she just rocks out, man. So that's so cute. Anyway, it's not a podcast about my daughter. It's about iOS. And the last app that I have that uses Full Force is Surfline. It's a surf report application. So basically, if you're a surfer, you can monitor some of your favorite spots and have cameras, webcam, handy if they're available at your spot, and tides information, water temp, and wave and everything. So all that good stuff. Cool. So that's it for Full Force, really, for me.
Yeah, I if I am looking for an app, a particular app in the App Store, if I see it doesn't have iPhone 5 screenshots, I immediately ignore it.
Yeah. I know. Like all the apps I've been talking about, though, were apps that I had before the iPhone 5 came. You know,
Right.
and, some apps like Average Cam Pro is such a great application, and it hasn't been updated in like 2 years, I think, or something. Um, but you know, I can't get rid of it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it for my how do you call it? Sleepers.
Cool.
Sleepers.
Awesome. So hopefully next week I'm sure I'll have a few to talk about. So how did we meet? We're going to talk about that for a second.
Yeah. You know, a few people were asking us. They were like, you need to talk about you. We want to know about you." And when they say you, they mean you and I. I think listeners like to hear about IDB behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's cool too, you know, when there's like a website that I like, a blog that I like to know about the people who actually run the website and who they are and what they like and, you know, about their personal life a little without getting too creepy into it, you know? So
what type of socks are you wearing, Sebastien?
yeah. What's your favorite brand of underwear? Oh, really? Me too. We have so much in common. So yeah, someone said, "Hey, you know, we want to know about you. How, for example, how did you guys meet? How did Jeff, you and I
to
meet?"
clarify something, we actually haven't met technically.
Technically, we haven't.
And that's really weird.
That's so weird.
It's really. How long has it been? Then it's going on what 3 years? Maybe longer than that. About 3.
I don't think longer than that. You know, like one way to look at it could be looking at your post history. We could figure it out pretty quickly.
I'm gonna do that right now. Actually, I think my first post was back in 2010.
Well, do you remember how we got in contact? I remember vaguely. I remember how did it happen? I think you had a blog at the time.
Yeah, it was called Apple Pie.
It was called Apple Pie PI, right?
It was really terrible.
Yeah, and you.
Well, you're supposed to say no. It wasn't. It was great.
Well, I didn't read the blog.
Yeah,
I stumbled onto one of your posts, I think, and you posted something about a hack, an iPhone hack, or something like that.
Maybe.
And I wrote a post on IDB, you know, based on your post. And of course, I gave you credits. You know, I said, "Hey, this is from this site."
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And I think you were like, "Oh, cool. Thank you for crediting me." And I think you said, "Hey, are you looking for someone?" Or maybe I said, "Hey, do you want to blog for IDB?" Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly how it went, but I think something
that's
like
pretty
that.
much the story, right? I mean, you had a blog. You did something pretty cool. And does this blog really still exist, by the way?
I don't know. It's a good question. You know, I have like a million blogs, right?
Yeah. I've been weeding out all my blogs. I had a million blogs as well, and I've been weeding them out because, you know, a lot of them it's just a waste of money, really. Even if it's just $10 a year for the URL, the domain name.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same.
It's just like I'm like, why do I have this thing? You know.
Yeah.
So I've just been deleting a bunch of them lately.
I think at most I want 2 blogs. Well, just one really. Of course, IDB is my main, and then just the personal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get rid of all the. Oh, that's a whole nother story. Well, we'll talk about that later.
We're not gonna go into the surface and the.
You know, I actually sold that this past week. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, I think these blogs have been learning experiences, but yeah, let's just talk about it later. Anyway, I looked at my post history. My first post was on September 30th, 2010.
2010, so it's been 2.5 years.
Right, but I'm thinking I was talking to you quite a while before that. Like, for instance, you talked about the post from the Apple Pie website.
Yeah.
I think that was probably maybe 2 months before.
Okay.
2 months before that. And I was reading ID. Really, the way this happened is I was reading your blog right around when it started, I think. I just thought it was one of the best iPhone blogs out there.
Okay.
at the time. So I was like, hey, it would be cool to work with this guy.
Yeah. And that turned out pretty good. So I don't know if you want to get into this, and if you don't, you can always edit it out, but you actually quit your job
Yeah.
to do this, right?
Yeah, I quit my job back in, when was that? Was that last year? That wasn't last year, was it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 years,
Yeah,
no?
going on 2 years now. In September, it'll be 2 years. So I was working as a programmer or developer at a financial institution, and I didn't like it. It was a good job. It paid very well, but at the same time, it was very stressful.
Yeah. Well, and did you like it? Did you like the job?
No, not really.
Yeah,
It was
so
not my cup of tea. See, I've always been like just into blogging. I mean, for the past 15 years, I've been doing some type of blogging. Before it was called blogging.
uh-huh.
And that's just been kind of my thing that consistent thing that you've always done, over the years. And I've always just found myself being drawn back to that. So I think that's how it ultimately went down.
All right.
Cool story.
Well, it's a cool story though.
Yeah. So back to the topic of meeting. Hopefully, we will meet sometime
In August, maybe.
Well, I was thinking May.
Oh yeah, you're coming in San Diego in May, right?
Yeah. So hopefully that'll work out then.
Yeah. And if not, we're probably gonna meet. You're going to Jailbreak Con, right?
I'm gonna try.
Come on.
I can't make any promises.
Oh, come on, dude.
I'm trying.
All right.
I'm trying to get things.
I'll try to make a promise.
Okay, I'll try. But we'll get together. So, and we'll post a pic on that, somewhere.
Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
For the show, we have a new podcast cover. Did you see it?
The new cover. Who was it designed by?
It was designed by famous theme developer Surenix.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's gonna look really good.
Yeah. So Surenix. I'm not sure I pronounced this right. I'm sure that's what it is though. Surenix is the graphic designer behind Icon, which is probably one of the top 3 most popular themes on CD already.
Yeah.
Cool guy. I met him actually last year at Jailbreak Con. Very, very, very nice guy from Canada. And, we kind of befriended very quickly. We actually drove to Cupertino to Apple's headquarters together with a couple of the guys. And, he's a cool dude. So I talked to him and I said, hey, you want to make a podcast cover for us? Something simple, something clean. And he did it. He pulled it out. So when
good.
It's out. It's actually on iTunes right now. So if you download this podcast, it's going to come with a new cover. Let us know what you think. Of course, we love to get feedback. We love to get comments.
And we love your what is it? The ratings in iTunes?
Yeah, ratings. Yes, please keep rating us. Obviously, if you give us good ratings, it's better.
But be honest. I mean,
be honest. Be honest, because saying something like "great podcast" is awesome. But if you can say, "Hey, great podcast, could you do this and that," or tell us why it's great, so we know what's our strength or our weaknesses, really. Yeah. So we can improve on the weaknesses and maybe capitalize on the strength. Yeah. So we can deliver a better and better podcast every week. We're still new to it, so we are learning, and I think we're doing a pretty good job looking at the comments. But obviously, you can always make things better, and that's what we're trying to do. So yeah, please, subscribe in iTunes. We're also on Stitcher and I think a few other apps. Rate us in iTunes. That's great. That helps us out a lot, and that's it.
That's it.
So that wraps it up for Let's Talk Jailbreak number 3.
Number 3.
It was yours truly, Sebastien Page, and Jeff Benjamin. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.